lights on, and comedy night. It's comedy time.
Make some noise, yeah! Everybody sing it with me. Anchor. No, you're not doing the right tempo. Anchor.
Hi, my name's Evan Cassidy, and I'm a stand-up comedian.
My name is Brandon Vestal.
Do you know why I pulled you over? I was like, no, officer, actually don't. I was running that myself. He was like, shit.
I'm Bob Wiley, and I'm a stand-up comedian.
I went to the back of the bar and drank myself. Silly. That's what we do with comedians. Then I went home and beat the shit out of my wife. I'm just kidding. I did it to my cat.
Yeah, I've been doing comedy for about 2.5 years.
Johnnie Flowers.
All right, we got a special guest in the house tonight.
Tickles Comedy Room is the show that I run.
I am Naathan Phan. I am 23 years old and I am a comedian.
Hi, I'm Ori Amir, O like orgasm, R like rhinoceros who is horny, I like irony, A like are you kidding me, M like mommy, I like irony, and R like rhinoceros who is horny.
So my accent is half Hebrew, half German, and yes, I've been unsuccessfully trying to kill myself for years.
I start crying, and my mom goes over to me and she tries to make it better and goes, "Mommy and Daddy are just playing a game." And I go, "Can you guys play a game called Mommy and Daddy Pretend to Love Each Other? Is that a game?"
My name is Robert Tran. I've been doing comedy for a year and a half now.
My name is Patrick Keane, and I do stand-up comedy. I started comedy in 2000. I've been doing comedy for 13 years.
Your elephants in all our zoos.
What made me want to be a comedian? That's kind of an interesting question.
Since I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a comedian, but I wanted to be three things. I wanted to be a comedian that was also the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers and an F-16 fighter pilot when my country needed me.
And I didn't know I wanted to be a comedian up until I went to my first open mic. It was at a place called the 705 Club, I believe. It was filled with people who had been doing comedy at least 3 years apiece. And luckily, everybody that night ate shit. Just opened their mouths and put as much shit in there as possible and just sucked.
But when the guy gets fucked up, he does this thing where he'll fall to the ground and his arms will just tense up like a T-Rex at his side, like his brain is rebooted. That guy's done, dude. Whatever that guy's done,
I went up and I did my set, and everybody clapped, and the owner of the bar came up and shook my hand and told me, "Thank you so much for being funny."
Oh, could that possibly be funny? It is. Could that be funny? No. It's like a science. It's like science of trying to figure out what it is that make you crazy people laugh.
Part of you wants to, and part of you, I think, needs to become a comic.
Yes! Yes!
I tried a lot of other things, and I either wasn't good at it or wasn't interested in it, and I was always kind of a smart ass.
I was a very depressed kid. Comedy kind of saved my life. I want to help people that are depressed by making them laugh, because I had nothing else in my life that ever made me feel any better except for comedy.
Sorry. A Chinaman American. Oh, you came very close.
First movie I remember seeing when I was a little kid was Three Amigos, and I remember just loving Steve Martin and going, "Oh, I want to be this when I get older," and then that never went away.
Before I begin, if you haven't seen me before, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. I know what I look like, which is adorable.
This is what I'm going to do. This is definitely what I'm going to do in my life.
So I'm from Costa, Mesa. I was driving down 17th Street the other day, and I saw this cheerleader. She was doing a car wash, and I gave her the finger. Stupid cheerleader. I would have given her two, but she said she was a virgin.
The comedy scene in Orange County, thriving, I think. It's up and running. I remember the early days when it was started by guys like Scott Ward and Chris Edwards. One of those guys is white, one's black.
The OC comedy scene itself is very self-contained, and so when you come down here, you get that warm atmosphere from comics. It's always very welcoming to outsiders, and then also the audiences are like real people who are going to see comedy shows, not like Hollywood comedy snobs.
We're kind of creating our own little market of stand-up in Orange County where we can all work on our act and get good.
And now it's amazing. Every night, it seems like there's multiple rooms in Orange County to do comedy or to see comedy. It's a county that needs it. You know, I grew up here, and it's very serious, and it's very middle upper class, and it's a polite audience. So there's plenty of material. It offers diversity, and it pushes the threshold, hopefully, to open people's minds and gets them engaged in a dialogue that they wouldn't otherwise be doing. So it gets people talking, hopefully, and thinking.
I don't know what style I am. I guess I'm observational. People ask me what kind of style I am a lot. And I sound like one of those pretentious musicians right now. Like, I don't know, I just everything. I just do everything. I just do what I do.
There is only one style of comedy, so I practice that.
With stand-up comedy, there's actually different genres in stand-up. And like blue-collar comedy, like Jeff Foxworthy, Larry the Cable Guy, and guys like that, would be like the country music of comedy. And then you got the guys like Dane Cook, who are like kind of like cheesy alternative rock, or like, you know, that kind of like they're like the Nickelback of comedy. And then you get people like Louis C.K., who is like one of my biggest influences, who to me is almost like the comedian equivalent of like 70s like singer-songwriter kind of music. Someone really bearing their soul and like really just telling it about who they are, what their worldview is, like personal stories and stuff like that. So I think that's probably the closest thing that I have now that I would define like my comedic style with.
Weird lawyer scheme. I'm just transgender, and that's all there really is to it. So we don't need to like get too deep into it. I'm not going to make you guys understand complicated gender issues that I didn't get till I was 27.
Comedy is about relativity. You have to be able to relate to comedy in order for me to get it. Like if I were to start talking about, so what's the deal about not being able to get water in Uganda? Am I right?
There are many different styles of comedy, of course. There's many different things that make us laugh. You know, sometimes it's not always jokes that make us laugh. Sometimes it's a serious moment.
Not necessarily.
I do a lot of self-deprecating stuff, maybe too much sometimes.
There are puns. I do mostly puns.
The objective is the world is your audience, you know, as cheesy as that sounds. It's I think, what you need to do, and hopefully that'll drive other things.
Close-up photos of the performer's face that we get, and we send them out to managers and bookers and agents, and then hope we get those. And the idea is to look the best we can the day these photos are taken, and pretend that it's the best they're ever going to look. And I recently got my head top back from the photographer, and it looks like I'm going to be a writer.
I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, do I support myself off of comedy?
Comedy does support my living right now. I wish it would support it more.
I would say in a given month, if I've done very well for myself, I've made maybe $75 off of comedy. And if you're taking into account gas money to get there, usually some amount of purchasing food at the venue to support it, I am going in the negative by doing comedy.
It took about 12 and a half years, and I wasn't making much money before in my other jobs. So that's nice, because then no matter how little you make in comedy, you're making just as little as you were in the previous job.
I have a day job. I am an all-around hustler.
I do lots of colleges, clubs, tour the country. And I do the Harp Inn here in Costa Mesa. Ted pays me lots of money to perform here. I got this water, and there might be some chicken strips coming my way, but I'm not real sure.
I do closed captioning for like TV shows and movies and stuff like that, so I transcribe audio, and we actually do a lot of transcription of like porn and stuff like that, which is nice because it gives me some stuff to talk about in my act.
Lots of begging and borrowing, like an animal, on my knees.
I work in drug and alcohol recovery. That's my day job.
I travel around the country to do stand-up. People pay you to talk into a microphone. All you have is amplification. You know the same words, you just have them in a different order than has ever entered their brains.
I scan people's brains and I teach, and I do things of that nature. They pay me with spare change, and yeah, and so I can do laundry and use the machine that give bread.
Comedy is time consuming.
To do comedy, you have to perform, like, at least for a very long time, you have to perform every night. I feel like for at least like 5 years.
It's something I'd love to do professionally one day and make a living off of, but as of right now, it's not.
To me, the relationship between a comedian and the audience is that I, as a comedian, I really need you guys. So please like me. Because if you don't, I'm either going to get really sad and beat myself up, or I'm going to cuss at you guys.
The comedians often cheat on the audience. That's the nature of the relationship we had. I mean, you guys think you're the only audience, but...
It's funny because coming from the road, sometimes it's a very adversarial relationship. I would do a lot of gigs on the road where I'd be in a bar where like half the crowd might not have known that a comedy show was happening. So we were almost like ambushing them with comedy. They're there to watch a football game or to hang out and chat with friends. And now you're going, you guys stop having fun and listen to me tell jokes.
The way comedy works is whoever is louder is usually going to win. And seeing as I have a microphone, I can pretty much set the stage to be, I'm smart guy with microphone, you're idiot person in audience, and the crowd is going to be on my side. Also, it's really nice to vent at just a stranger, let them know that you think they're human garbage.
At the end of the day, they just have to kind of like you and be willing to go with you and open their threshold a little bit. And then they'll let, you know, some of the jokes that aren't so great or aren't within their paradigm, they'll let those fly because they like you as a performer.
So the audience is everything. I do believe, like, all the great comics that I admire say, like, it's always on you, like, it's never, oh, that was a bad audience. Like, you should be able to feel out the audience, and there's really a skill to that.
People say that we need jobs in our country. I disagree. I think too many things are being counted as jobs in this country. Like, can anyone tell me what the fuck a DJ does? Like, honestly, what is it? Like, a club DJ, what are they doing? Why are they getting so much? There's billboards all over LA about DJs in Vegas. Come see DJ Afro Man, and he was bald. What's that about?
My goals in stand-up wise is a lot of people just want to be actors and stuff, and I do just so I can put asses in the seats in the stand-up shows, you know, because I want to be a comedian. I just want to tour around doing shows. I just want the shows to get bigger and nicer venues, like theaters, instead of inns.
My short term, I guess I would say, goals are just to hone the craft. Hone the craft.
I don't need to be rich. I mean, obviously being successful enough that people know who I am would be great. I would love it if I could go to do a show and most of the crowd is there to see me. That would be a nice feeling, especially because, like I mentioned, being transgender, this isn't a gimmick, it's not a weird thing I'm doing, it's just who I am. Now here's my material.
What do they give you when you check into a hotel? What do they hand you at the front desk? A key. That is a gentleman's agreement that there is going to be something to put that key in when you get to the room. That's not some weird-ass hotel metaphor where they're like, welcome to the hotel, here's your key, now get out there and unlock your destiny.
My goals in comedy are to make a moderate amount of living off of this. If I could make this my sole source of income, I'd be very thrilled. I would like to be somebody's favorite. They heard my stand-up and was like, that guy is so funny. I really like what he does. However, I might best use like what I think is a very acute and good sense of humor to make the world like funnier and more positive. Then yeah, that's what I like to do.
When I'm, you know, retiring or old and gonna die, just to be, you know, a respected comic among the community, you know, among my peers, and you know, it might not be fame, but at least, you know, hopefully great comics will consider me a great comic, and whether there's fame and money with that, great. If not, I'll be happy with, again, the greats associating themselves with me.
There are a lot of similarities between doing comedy and drug addiction. It's almost like the same type of euphoria. You live for that next next stage, that next microphone, that next audience, that next laugh, that next kill joke where you just, you kill the audience, you just bust the room up.
Right? You're welcome. You're welcome. That's my light. I'm done. Thank you.
Go Cassidy! Keep it going for Cassidy! All right.
Probably getting a glare off my huge teeth.
Bam. 2 done, baby.
Isn't that me rephrasing it? You just shit down my throat. I was in the process of rephrasing as you're yelling at me to rephrase.